Hey guys, and welcome to another episode. Today in this video, I'm going to show you how to install aftermarket horns on your car. Now the horns that are currently installed on the Volkswagen Golf are the OEM ones that came with the car from the manufacturer. And we're going to be replacing them with two Hella Supertones. So we've got a high and we have a low frequency horn, and that essentially is what comprises the horn on your car. So on the car with the bumper off, we can see that we've got two little horns right here. We have a high and we have a low. And we're gonna be replacing both of these with the Hella Supertones. Now with the stock horn, this is what they sound like. So the horns work, but we want a little different note. So we're gonna be replacing these ones with the Hellas. So we have the stock horns right here, but we're not gonna be installing the Hellas in that exact location. We're gonna be doing something a little bit different. So once you have an idea as to where you wanna install the horns, we need to disconnect these horns and extend the wiring. There's two bolts holding in each one of the horns up to the car. So we're gonna have to disconnect those and remove the wiring harness on the back side, or on the front here, on the back side on the other one, and we're gonna disconnect those so we can remove the horns from the car. So with the wire out, you have one connector on there that's securing it on. Okay, so there's one, and you can see that this is all it is. You've got a positive and a negative connector right there. You've got the mounting hole for it right there, and there's the horn. It's pretty simple. So if you were simply swapping out the OEM horn for the aftermarket one, you could remove the mounting nut on both of the horns and just switch the Hella horn onto this bracket. And that would work 100%, but it would keep it so that the horns are in the same spot. And just like before, we have one connector on the back. Now these might be stubborn only because they're on the front part of the car, and they might, be covered in dirt or whatever. So remove both of them, and then let's get on to the next step. So we have our old horns right here and our new ones right here. Now if you take a look at them, if you take a close look, you'll be able to tell which one is a low and which one is a high. Now that's referring to the frequency of the sound waves that come out of these horns. So we have a low and high, and our new ones, it'll have the same thing. So this right here is a 300 hertz, and the other one is a 500 hertz. And you'll be able to see those markings on the horns. It doesn't matter which one of these horns you wire up to the harness, they both supply the same amount of power. They're both 12 volt horns. So it doesn't matter if you install the high where the low goes or the low where the high goes. It's still gonna work the exact same way.
She's like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Luca, we gotta help her. No, okay, so where should we install the horns? Oh, over there.
Is it just, I like girls. Douglas!
She could not give one more. Yeah,
Douglas, where are you going?
So we looked it all over and we thought that drilling through this isn't going to be a good idea. So what we're doing is we're going to be mounting up the side. We're going to be mounting up the horn here. So right here they're going to be on the sides, and they're going to be found, like you can see through them with the bumper attached. It's going to be on the side intake, I guess is what you call it. So we're going to be installing one here and the other one on the other side. So we used a bolt right here that was holding up the front frame of the car. We took that out just so we can install the frame part for the horn. So we've got that mounted up, and we've got our two connectors right here. Now we're gonna wire that up in a second, but we're gonna first mount up the other horn up to the other side. We wanna make sure that with the bumper on the car, you can see them and the horn will still work properly. So we have both of them mounted up. Now we have the bumper, and we're gonna see if this all fits. All right, so we have the bumper mounted, and you can see that we've got the horns, one there and the other one in the same spot. Now we're not sure if we're going to be keeping this position, but as it stands, this will work because it doesn't come in contact with the bumper when it's installed. So we might tweak around with it, play around with it a little bit, but as it stands, this is good. This is functional. So the game plan to move the horns a little bit up so that it's more visible inside the side of the bumper is we're going to be attaching a little bracket onto it, so it's going to be pushing it a little bit further up and out. So all that we did is we used an L bracket like this. We put it face down like that, and just hit it until it went flat. Kind of like that. And then with a piece like that, we're able to extend the mounting point of the horn. So on the passenger side of the car, you can see that the horn is now positioned properly in the center side of the vent. So we need to do the exact same thing to the driver's side. So this side right here is only held up by the OEM mounting bracket. Now we need to attach that extra L bracket that I was talking about in order to push it up and have it centered. So we have the horn mounted up to the L bracket piece that we straightened out, and that right there is the OEM Hella bracket that came on the horn. So we just extended it and pushed it out of the way. Now whether if we want to move it up or down, all that we do is we either adjust this screw right there to have it swing up or down, or you can do the same thing with this one. So now that we have both of the horns hooked up to the car, we need to wire them up. So both horns, they both have a male connector on them. So just like right here, you can see that we've got one male connector here and another one there. So we have one for positive and one for negative. And we need to wire the exact same kind of wiring like this for the new horns that we have mounted on the car. So on the Hellas, we have a positive here and a negative right here. And we need to wire both of these up to the OEM wiring right here. So we have one for one horn and we have another one here for the other. So we're gonna have to cut the connector right here for both of them. And we're gonna have to attach a little bit of wiring right here so that we can get the wiring from here, from the connector to the horn. So the way that we're gonna be getting the horns to work is with a little wire like this. So we've got about a foot of wire right here with a female connector on one end and a male on the other. So on the back side of the horn, we have a male connector and we're gonna be attaching this piece onto it. So we're gonna have the female connector right here slide onto the terminal like that. And then from the other end, we're gonna have to wire this male part up to a female connector that we're gonna be attaching onto here. So it doesn't matter which wiring harness you grab first, they both power the same amount of voltage to the horns. So you can pick either or, and we're gonna have to cut the connector off of it. So we're gonna have to cut the old connector off and we're gonna have to expose a little bit of the wire so that we can hook up our female end onto the connector. Okay, so we're gonna have to attach two of them on there, one for the positive and then one for the negative. So right now we're just stripping back a little bit of the sheathing so that we have some wire to work with so that we can attach our female connector onto here. So once you have it like that, you just twist it and splice it. And you do the same thing for the negative. Now, it doesn't matter which one you attach onto where, the power is still gonna be going the same through the horns. So you just twist it, and then we're gonna be attaching one of these female connectors on the end of here. So we're gonna be able to remove the horn should we want very easily because it's just a matter of unplugging and pulling the connector out of the female end. So once you have the connector on it like that, you're just gonna have to crimp it down because the inside part of there is metal. And it's gonna essentially squeeze itself onto the wire. Now this is gonna have a very good connection and you're not gonna have to worry about any corrosion down the road. So do two of them. And like that, it's not going anywhere. Even if you pull on it. Not moving. So with one female like this, we're gonna have our wiring that we just made up with the male that's gonna be attaching onto there. Just push it in. And then the other wire that we have right here, this right here, this is the female that's gonna attach onto the back side of the horn right there. So once you have this done for both of these, one of these horns is gonna be wired up. Now see how easy this is? There's no splicing, there's no anything that needs to be done. It's just a matter of pulling these connectors out should we want to remove the horn. Okay, so there's one. And with the other wire, do it up for the other end. And they're both gonna attach on the back side of the horn. So theoretically, right now, if we were to hook up the battery back up to the car and press the horn, this horn right here should work. Now the difference between this side and the other side is that this side here is short, whereas we're gonna need to run a large wire to go from this connector down here all the way to the other side of the bumper. Now if you wanna make the look clean and you don't wanna see these wires from behind the bumper, if you want, you can go to your local dollar store and you can pick up some of this cable sheathing right here. Now this stuff right here came in a big pack and it's super long. Now we don't need this long of the sheathing for this little piece right here, so we're just gonna get it, trim it to size, which is like right there. And then we're gonna just slide the sheathing over the wire. So just slide the wires inside of there and it's gonna clean up the look and you're not gonna be able to really see the red wire when we have the bumper installed on the car. So slide it all the way up and there you go. You have your connector on one end and the rest of this all looks black. Now if you wanted to as well, you could wrap this all with electrical tape and that would work as well. But I mean, it's just completely up to you. With this method, it'll stay on there, and if you want to take it off, you can reuse it again. So just attach the wiring connectors on the back side of the horn, and this side is done. Now for the next side, we're gonna be doing the exact same thing here, but the difference is the wire is gonna be a lot longer. It's gonna be a couple feet and bring us to that side, and we're just gonna be connecting it to the old connector the same way. So we're gonna be snipping this off, attaching the male and female connectors there with the sheathing on it. We're probably gonna run it inside the crash bar of the bumper, bring it all the way to this end, and then attach it down here. Now the beautiful option about doing it this way is that you can take out the connector anytime you want. So say you want to remove the horn, you want to do anything, you want to go back to stock, it's very easy when you're working with these male and female connectors. So we have the wire for the passenger side of the vehicle running from down there up on top, inside the crash bar, came all the way out, and there was a hole in the backside up here that we got it to run through. Coming down, right here, we got to push it through the backside in the front. And then if we move around to the side, we're gonna be able to see the male connectors on the back side of the horn, right there, that hook up to the female end of our wiring harness. 1 and 2. So this side is good. Now we just need to wire up the other end of this wire up to the car, and the horns are gonna be working properly. So attach the male and female connectors together for both the positive and the negative end of the wire. If we can get it to slide in. And then right there, so we have the passenger side wired up and the driver's side wired up. Now once we put the battery back on, we should be able to go inside the car, honk the horn, and we should be able to get noise coming from both of the horns. Alrighty, so this is gonna be a little loud, but we have both of the wires hooked up. So I'm just gonna step back here. Okay, get ready, we're gonna honk the horn in 3, 2, 1. They work! And now with the bumper mounted on the car, you can see both the Hella horns on both sides of the vehicle. You can see we've got the one there and the one there. At stealth, you can see them if you're looking for it, but otherwise, it's a clean install. And just like that, guys, you guys can install aftermarket horns on your car in a matter of no time. By going through the entire procedure, you can take out the old horns, install new wiring, and install new horns on your vehicle. Now, just an added note, if you guys want to make this look completely clean, that silver L bracket, when you guys install it, if you want, you can put a little bit of black paint on it so that you don't see it through the front end. But I mean, even still, the horns work perfectly. If you guys have any questions regarding the video, throw them down in the comment section below, and I'd be happy to help. Again, guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace. And we're gonna be replacing them with Hella Supertones. Now, both of these horns are essentially a plug-and-play system for the car. So, no, they're not. That's a lie.
Not at all.
No.
Yeah, you can just take back the whole thing.
Yeah, the whole thing. Let's start from the beginning.
All right.
You gotta pull. Pull hard and come up. It worked!